This is sort of a follow-on to what you heard from the Vice President, for the VP of Membership. It is talking specifically about how to grow your club. But the point I want to emphasize right here is that the task of growing the club is a responsibility of everybody who's in the club. It's not just an officer. It's just not one specific individual, but it's everybody's responsibility. And I'm going to give you the summary of what I'm going to say in just one word. If you capture this word, you're going to capture the whole presentation. And that word is hospitality. You'll see how that word works in here in just a minute. But that is the key to growing your club. Now, there's a handout for this. You can pick up on the way out. It has a lot more verbiage than you're going to see up here. It has a lot more detail, so it'll actually be a useful document you can take with you that has specific ideas for how you can grow your club. Get over here now. Sorry about that, Dennis. You're going to have to refocus over here. So, give me some reasons. Why would we care about building membership? Some ideas. Anybody out here?
Maintain the club.
What?
Keep the club alive.
Keep the club alive. What else?
New energy.
New energy. Okay, what else in the back?
Spread the word.
Spread the word. All right, what else do you want to build membership? What is it?
We're just kind of folks.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, attrition, right. So you need a certain critical mass of people there to run a really good meeting. If your club consists of 7 people, it's really hard to have exciting meetings. You can do it, but you have to pour a lot of energy into it. If you have 25 people, and you can score 12 or 13 of those people in each of the meetings, it's a lot more comfortable to run a good meeting. You have enough people to spread the wealth around and to make sure all the roles are covered. So that's another good reason you want to have a certain critical mass of people you need to have an exciting meeting and to make sure that nobody gets burned out. You have a certain talent pool. So let's say a talent pool for leadership, or a talent pool for committees, or a talent pool for making nice, colorful flyers to advertise your club. The more people you have in the club, the deeper the talent pool you can pull on to run in things in an interesting manner. I see you shaking your head over here. Is this something from experience that you've seen?
Oh, I definitely agree.
Okay.
It's good to have a full range of talent.
That's right. And so having more bodies in the club means you've got a greater depth of talent you can pull on to do all kinds of things. And you have the fresh energy, which we heard stated several times. Hospitality is the key towards building this atmosphere that will make people want to be a part of your club. The first is to create a warm and welcoming environment. Now, how do you do that? I want more ideas from the back over here. Paul is saying smile when people come there. What else? How can you create a warm and welcoming environment?
Ask them their name.
Ask them their name, yes. What else? Give me some more.
A handshake.
A handshake, that's right. Here's an experience I had. This really happened to me. I visited a club here in District 57. Here's the door. Here's the meeting room. I came in through the door, and I looked around, and there were about half a dozen people sitting there. Nobody was talking to each other. So a couple of people looked up and had eye contact with me, and then went back about their business. I went over to a chair, and I sat down. I stayed there for the meeting. When the meeting was over, I stood up, and I left the room. And in all that time, not one person said hi to me. Not one person greeted me or acknowledged me in any way. That is the antithesis of what I'm talking about here. This is what you don't want to do, like Carrie's presentation here. She has experience to tell you what not to do. Well, that's what not to do for building your club. You need bodies at that door every week. Whether that's your sergeant at arms or somebody else, but you need somebody at the door. So when that guest comes through, they can have that experience of somebody smiling, greeting them, shaking their hand, welcoming them, getting them to sign your guest book, giving them a handout. But the idea is to welcome them into the group and acknowledge that they exist. And then introduce them to somebody so they can sit next to somebody and understand what the meeting's about. That's hospitality. Think of it like this. If you have guests over to your house, are you going to just tell them, just walk in and have a seat? If you're going to have a party at your house, you're probably going to be somewhere near the door. And you're going to greet people. You're going to introduce them around so they know how to talk to other people. That's what being a host is about, and that's what you are for your guests. So hospitality, make sure they feel warm and welcome. Person-to-person contact, genuine concern for each other's welfare. Now this cuts two ways. There are two sides of the coin to building a club's membership. We always talk about building membership, but you know what? You also have to, sorry about that, Dennis, I'm going to wander back and forth here.
Just enjoy yourself there, man.
Okay. All right, let's get back over here. It cuts both ways. You have to add new members to your club, but you have to retain the members that you have. One year, this district had a club that at the end of the year, they had added an astounding 22 people to their club that year. Isn't that fantastic?
Fantastic.
And in that same year, they lost 23. So for a net loss of 1. It doesn't do you any good to add new members if you don't hold on to the members you've got. And the solution to both of those issues is the same thing. And that is showing hospitality, common courtesy and concern for both your existing members and for your guests. And that means person-to-person contact. We already talked a little bit about welcoming your guests, and so I'm just going to slide over that. So we already know this. We've heard this message a couple times, so I'm not going to belabor it. You'll see it in your handout, but it's important. You need to do this. You need to have a guest book. You need to greet every person with some handouts so they have a takeaway. And in that package of handouts, the most important piece of information you can have is that membership application. And we do that in my home club, and we always make sure that the membership application is already filled in with the club name and number and all of that kind of stuff. So all they have to do is fill in their contact information and they hand you a check, and they're a new member. You want to make it easy for them. So make sure you've got a handout package, something of value you can put in their hands, and they can walk away with to have information about your club and about the coaching message. Here's just a sample of some of the things that we put in our package. There are any number of brochures that you can get from Toastmasters International. These are all free. These are various kinds of flyers. We put one of those in the package. We have a one-page handout that talks about our club and when we need contact numbers. And we have the application, as you can see up here. It's pre-filled. We have our club name and number up there. We have how much it's going to cost if you join today. So it's already filled out and ready to go for them. This is in their hands for every guest that comes through. They're easy to put together, and it doesn't cost you anything. I like that part. So once you get guests through the door, that's a good job. You make them feel welcome. Now, how do you turn guests into members? And there are a couple of things. First thing is to be warm and hospitable. Have that smiling face greeting them at the door when they come in. And this is really key. You've got to make every single meeting a great meeting. Every one of those meetings, people have to walk away saying, I did not waste my time. This was fun. Or I learned something. You want every week for someone to walk away with that sense inside of them that this was an hour worth spending with these people. And you want that to be felt by the guests, and you want that to be felt by the members. So make sure that every meeting is great, it runs snappy, it has a written agenda, it moves along, and you have variety in your educational program. That's up to the EVP, but still that's a responsibility of everybody to run interesting meetings. Do something unexpected. We had a meeting one time where everybody walked in, we greeted them, we got ready to start the meeting, and we started by handing out the award for the best table topics. Well, we hadn't had table topics yet. And we worked our way backwards through the whole meeting like that. We had the award for best table topic, we had the evaluations before we had the speakers. So it was really a stretch. Everybody had to really think what they were going to do, but the point is, it was unexpected, it caught everybody off guard, and it made it fun and funny, and we still had a good educational program. You can do that. There are all kinds of resources to help you do that. Make the meetings fun and exciting. Every meeting counts. Every meeting is a special occasion. And make sure you explain your roles if you have guests so that they'll understand what's going on. And here's the key. This is the transition point. Right here. This is the point at which you turn them from a guest into a member.
Megaphone?
Nope.